Hey everyone, well, welcome back. I guess thank you so much for continuing to, I guess, listen. If you came from the introduction, so I think this topic is going to be more about the project plan, kind of what they're planning. And again, in the February neighborhood board meeting, Manoa, we got like a kind of glossy PowerPoint on this, and I'm gonna walk through it kind of from this DEA. I mean, we have a little bit more information in this draft environmental assessment, so kind of go through there. The first thing, I hate to keep harping, but this part tells about who they consulted with in preparing this thing. And at the March neighborhood board meeting, I asked, why was the neighborhood board, a private party, not involved earlier? And I got the response, nobody has a right to this, and you can't. You're demanding this thing here. Um, I, I didn't think I was demanding it. So what I have up here, this is the Hawaii Administrative Rules, section 11 200.1. This is what controls the environmental assessment process. I'm in here, section 18, about preparing a DEA, and I'm on A here, and I'm reading this proposing agency, so this would be a YCA, or approving agency DPP shall require the applicant, in this case it's the same proposing, right, to conduct this early consultation seeking earliest practicable time advice and input of, okay, so yeah, of agencies, great, as well as those citizen groups, reasonably may be affected. Okay, so again, it's not. I didn't think it was my personal demand when I brought it up at the neighborhood board. I felt like it was almost, you know, by law. I mean, I'm reading this in this law here that um, you know the preparer here should be consulting, and not just with these agencies, county, city agencies, state agencies, also right here with these citizen groups and individuals, so neighbors, people that live next door to this thing, or no neighborhood board, right, would be a great citizen group that I think did fit, but that's not kind of how the cookie crumbled here. So they're gonna say here that they reached out to these agencies. At the very end of this whole DEA, in the appendices, they'll have the replies from these people and timestamps that say they're replying in September of 21. So okay, so maybe they had some preliminary draft, and then they shared it with these agencies, and then they got some feedback from the agencies potentially, and then they finalized this report, which was the November 21 time that we saw. So, and it's just kind of again painting this narrative. Well, they're saying they're awaiting the responses still from organizations and the private parties. So they don't say who they contacted and that they're waiting for. I know they didn't contact the neighborhood board. They didn't include the meeting, the minutes from the February meeting. That there was some feedback that wasn't in here. So yeah, it's this background part. It's just who they are. Blah blah blah. The need. Blah blah blah. Location. Okay, this is the part that it's gonna be kind of a recurring theme here. So again, the spoiler alert from the top, right? They're gonna say anticipate no significant impact. So, the narrative of this document needs to sort of have that voice where it's not impactful, right across the board here. So they're speaking to Woodlawn Ditch. This is a drainage ditch that runs sort of right across the center of this proposed site. So it runs right through the middle. And this drainage ditch will kind of come down through their site. It'll make a turn, and it'll come across East Manoa and it'll hit Manoa Stream. It'll connect with Manoa Stream near the park, kind of near Manoa Park. And so they're gonna say in this phrase, it's the beginning of this recurring theme here. This drainage ditch, it's dry, right? Except following a heavy rain event. So kind of nice phrasing here. Again, this is Manoa Valley here, so heavy rain event. It's not that rare. It's pretty common. So when you're saying dry except, kind of phrasing it like it's not doesn't happen a lot. I mean, it happens, and I'll get into this probably when we talk about the flood risks and whatnot. But this drainage ditch, this you know, it serves an important kind of function. A lot of the water from the east valley wall kind of comes down, by Alani or whatever. It's on the hillside. It's gonna collect in this proposed site and kind of join this ditch and connect to the Manoa Stream. And in these except heavy rain events, these are those dangerous, potentially flash flooding events that are surprisingly common, here in the valley. And if you have a lot of water coming down Manoa Stream, the main stream, and you have a lot of water joining it from this drainage ditch during the heavy rain event, the exception here, I guess, in in this phrasing, then it could be a problem, right? Okay, and this is the next page here, kind of similar part here. We talk about drainage ditch coming through here. It comes down, it turns, and it connects to the mainstream. And the flood studies show that this part right here around Mono Marketplace, there's a risk of flooding during these flash flood events. Let's see here. Another picture, just how they're gonna break it up, the lot, but it shows this nice line. This dividing line here is the drainage ditch again. Okay, this is the preliminary site plans. So a few things I wanted to kind of point out here. Okay, these footprints, these buildings, it's almost 300 feet by like maybe 150 or whatever, so 160. These are almost football field sized footprints, 4 of them. So it's pretty big. I want to call out this section here. So there's 2 crosswalks called for, 2 driveways on East Manoa. This will be kind of important when we show this picture next part. Also interesting, they're calling out right here down here that, hey, we could close this road for festivals and things. So they're actually already planning. Again, this, I guess, is not significant impact. They don't say it anywhere else, but they're planning to, have close this road. It's gonna be a thing. Description. This is kind of like the summary. I'm not gonna go into this that much again. But again, just this narrative again, right? Visually have a low profile. So like, I guess low is relative. Maybe if you compare it to Ward Village, Kaka'ako, you compare a 50-story building with a 3-story building, then okay, lower, right? There are no other buildings, 32 feet, in this proposed area. So low is relative. And obscured by existing vegetation. Again, this is like probably not gonna be reality here. This is the layout. Again, this is that long bar right down here. It's 80 feet, so you think there's about maybe two and a half of them going across, and 1.5 up and down. This is a fairly large footprint. They got it right this time. 24 units per floor, 3 floors, 72 per building, and there's going to be 4 of these buildings planned. This is the triangle, the bundle. 15 minutes can save you 15%. This is where they have a lot of the commercial stuff here. We got a community center, we have meeting halls, we have schools, we have classrooms, we have offices, right? we have down here. There's a cafe or upscale convenience retail. So all these things are being bundled into this 201H affordable housing project here, housing project, and they feel that it's appropriate. They feel in this plan, they feel it's appropriate to bundle. Um, you know, this is just a prettier picture of kind of what we already saw. This is the aerial view, the infamous, maybe I don't know, the artist rendering. Talked about this in the first video. Uh, these are cross sections where they're trying to show maybe that it's gonna be hidden in this foliage that it's dubious whether that foliage is gonna exist or will ever exist. They're saying it, trying to show, right, that yeah, I'm gonna skip some of these pretty pictures here. You can kind of look at them if you want. I wanted to show this one. This is the one. We're on East Manoa looking up to the valley. This is the one that hurt my feelings, to be honest with you. So, vision of Manoa Banyan Court. It's nestled under and within an old grove of trees. Okay, so 90% of these trees are gonna be cut. I mean, I'm not even an arborist. I know this tree isn't like known as a weed tree, so there's a lot, like 90%, I think, was this type of invasive weed tree. So then cut those back. So yeah, there's, remember from the picture above. Now there's two driveways on the street. One might be conveniently behind this picture, or one might be, I don't know, maybe they're claiming it's behind this red car or something. But two driveways into two parking lots along this stretch of East Manoa. There's those two crosswalks, right, that we saw in the study. They're marked out, but they're asking for raised pedestrian crosswalks. So I read that as those glorified speed bumps here, where it's like the entire crosswalk is raised. Two of them now. Maybe one again is behind this picture, but one should be visible, right? One should be maybe by this red truck here. And I guess the last thing is note the amount of parking. Currently, East Manoa Road right here, there's a lot of street parking because there are not 288 apartment buildings or apartment units right here. So when you have 288 apartment units with 180 provided 185 provided parking, I'd be willing to bet money here that this entire area is gonna just be packed with cars, right? Assuming they still allow parking along the side of this whole thing. So, um, so here, they're saying that we're in the urban core, primary urban core. That's right. But if you looked at the urban development plan, this area is marked specifically for park and open space. So, um, they need this 201H exemption here to reuse this. The point I wanted to make, it's gonna be important maybe later for the next however many years this thing actually runs, if it runs, that LYCA, is going to be the sole responsibility. So they're going to be the owner, the operator here. They're going to have the overseeing the design, build, operate, and maintain of this project. So I asked Charles Wong about how are they going to run this thing, and he didn't provide details. He said they're going to have a professional management company do it, which is great, but on top of that management company, and there's going to be oversight, right, from HHFDC for the affordable part, but here the owner here, is still going to be is LYCA, still going to retain ownership of this thing, which I think is going to be important to keep in mind as we kind of go through. And I think I'm going to end it right here. This is just showing existing zoning. They're currently in the P2 preservation land, and it's bordered by R75, and back here there's even R10. So